Maps in the Splatoon series are very interesting. They're built around the movement of Inklings since a lot of walls are inkable, there's fences to play around with the kid and squid idea, and some maps even have things such as colored sponges that help with traversing. Unlike a lot of other games such as Breath of the Wild, the maps are completely symmetrical, with both ends mirroring one another, and you're not really trying to explore the area or go to any specific location. Instead, you're focusing on whatever game mode you're playing. But what if you threw all of the game modes idea out the window and instead treat this like other games where your goal is to make your way through each map and cross to the other side? But that'd be too easy, so we need to add in a twist. Obviously, this video is heavily inspired by DougDoug's video where he attempted to cross the Tears of the Kingdom map in a straight line, along with PointCrow trying to go in a straighter line and Fur trying to go in the straightest line, and with Kojo trying this in Mario Odyssey. So it goes without saying that I will also be trying to cross Splatoon maps in as straight of a line as I possibly can. In Tears of the Kingdom there was coordinates that could be used to make sure you were still in your designed path, and in Mario Odyssey you can use this compass. Splatoon doesn't have either of these though, so how do I make sure I'm going straight, you might be asking? Well, let's quickly go over the rules of this challenge. First of all, what defines crossing a Splatoon map? In the Tears of the Kingdom and Odyssey videos, they all chose a way to cross the maps by either a horizontal or vertical line that goes all the way across the map. I could also do that, but then that would mean this path crosses the map on Sturgeon Shipyard. Instead, what I'll consider as successfully crossing a map is by going from my spawn point to the enemy's spawn point. There's one main issue with this though. Not every map allows you to go all the way into the enemy spawn since they're blocked off by either an uninkable wall or a sponge you can't access. So when that's the case, I'll just consider reaching this wall as successful. But I'm also going to allow wiggle room for this challenge. Now how do I make sure my line is straight since I've got no indicator? My first thought was to use an umbrella since when you fire it, it'll go in a straight line in the direction you were facing. However, I soon found out that it can be redirected way too easily, so I quickly swapped to a sniper that I can use to line up my shots. It's not going to be perfect, but it's the best solution I could think of. Maybe someone will try to cross Splatoon maps in a straighter line. Also, taking some inspiration from DougDoug.
Instead, I am going to attempt this challenge in ultra hard mode. Specifically, I am naked. I have the minimum hearts and stamina. I cannot use any runes or sages, so you can't build things or teleport things, and I can only use an item if I find it along the path.
I'm also going to be making restrictions. Pretty much, I can use the sniper to make sure I create a straight enough line, but that's it other than movement. No subs, no specials, the only advantage I could use would be clothing abilities. Also, just for simplicity, each map is only going to be tested in Turf War. With that being said, let's get into it. Scorched Gorge seemed like it would be somewhat promising since you can go in a straight line from spawn to the edge of the map, but remember, we're going for the enemy spawn. To get there, we need to go on this grate and then take an immediate left-hand turn. So this map isn't possible. Eeltail Alley looked more promising to me since there were only some bumpers along the path which could be rerouted to just avoid them entirely. However, an issue arose when the path I had barely avoided this ramp. My attention was more drawn to this box though since the ramp had a path that would require an immediate left, so I'd have to go at a bit of a sharper diagonal than I liked. The idea was to just straighten up my path a little more and also get the box in the path and then try to make the jump from this wall, but ultimately I couldn't make the jump. I changed my gear to try for better swim and running speed abilities, but all of my momentum was immediately halted once I was in the air. Even after using Tacticooler just to see if that'd make it any easier, I had no luck, so instead I tried to find a path that would cross this ramp. I started on the other side and made my way backwards so that I could find as undiagonal of an angle as possible before quickly finding out to do that I'd need to either go through or above this wall, making the map impossible. Hagglefish Market looked really promising as long as I lined up the path so that I could go up the stairs. I figured I'd be fine. What I didn't account for was the confusion of whether this map was completed or not. See, there's no way to get up here without being at a somewhat right diagonal since the stairs are always on the right side of your view of the map. So when going up the stairs, you'll always run into this wall, which isn't the furthest wall in the spawn. Since I said I was going to allow some wiggle room though, I'm going to count it. Undertow Spillway just has too many layers and different elevations to it that you need to be moving in way too many different directions to reach the end. I didn't even bother trying a route just in case after examining the map I knew there was no way this would be possible. Mincemeat Metalwork looks like you could possibly go in this line, but the issue is the only way to the top of the map is this grate, which you need to be on the completely left side of the map for and then turn right to climb. Hammerhead Bridge was the first map that I thought would be possible when thinking of this challenge, so imagine how surprised I was when I was closely looking at it in Recon and found out that it's completely possible. Museum D'Alfonsino, I had no belief in whatsoever, but it did make me curious about something. If you can move in a straight line to then have the stage push you, does it count as you still being in a straight line since you didn't move out of your path? You were pushed out. I personally won't count it, and here's why. If there were coordinates in this game, then I would have to stay within a certain distance of one of the values, and if I got pushed out, it would definitely count as venturing out of the line. However, out of curiosity for those that would count it, this was the best line that I could think of for the map. Mahi Mahi Resort was really straightforward. As long as you could make it to this ramp at a decent enough angle, you pretty much made it. Fuck Art Academy, I'll just let the live commentary explain it.
Cause, yeah, this right here, this ruins it. Cause you gotta, like, climb this wall. Okay, climb this wall and then come to this wall. It's just... that's not happening while only moving straight. I was gonna say potentially you can do it like this, but then you'd have to be coming from like that angle, and that leads back to the water.
Sturgeon Shipyard required you to take a left when you get up to the ramp, and unfortunately, that's the only way to the end. Mako Market has a very open walkway, so on my first line attempt, I created a path that was completable. Wahoo World is annoying because you can't cross through the center, and also if you attempt to cross at the wrong time, the map just moves you. Even if you can get past this, your options are either take a left and then right, or go in a curve, and so it's not possible. And Brinewater Springs isn't either due to how many walls are uninkable and in the way.
Is that wall inkable? It's not. That's an issue.
Flounder Heights I expected to not be possible, but I checked it just to make sure, and it was the complete opposite of Brinewater Springs. Since almost every wall is inkable, none of them are a challenge, and since you can't get up into this area of the map, I was able to cross it after a few tries of readjusting for a better angle. Umami Ruins, this ramp ruins it. Get it? Because of the map name? I'll be here all night, folks. Manta Maria was one of the only two maps that I thought was going to be possible when attempting this challenge, only for me to realize that because of the wooden poles, there's no way to make it all the way to the enemy spawn. Barnacle and Dime actually has a bit of a challenge to it instead of just getting blocked by a wall. When getting into the enemy spawn, there's barely a path that you can take that clips this fence so you can use it to climb up and reach the spawn. Humpback Pump Track I knew wasn't going to be possible because it's meant to be a circular. Crab Lake Capital gave me a lot of trouble, and after over 20 minutes, this was the closest route I could come up with. 20 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but I filmed this entire video in 2.5 hours, so over 10% of the raw footage for this video was spent on this one map. Unfortunately, I was about 2 Inklings away from the wall. Shipshare Cargo Co. was easy as long as I made sure to go at a slight diagonal angle to avoid running into either wall. I figured that out the hard way. Robo-Rom M's biggest obstacle isn't actually a wall, but instead these bumpers. They were actually aligned in a way that interfered with a lot of potential paths. Bluefin Depot wasn't possible due to how long the map is and the fact that your only way up is this elevator, making an already limited line even more limited. Marlin Airport was my favorite map because it actually felt like a bit of a challenge to cross. My biggest issue was to not have this wall in my way while also being able to take this lift up and then climb up the stairs. And finally, Lemuria Hub is the most impossible map since there's a huge gap between the spawns, so there's not a single idea I could think of that would make this possible. After testing every map and adding all of them up, I came up with a total of 9 maps out of the 24 that I found to be possible with my rules. This is a really fun way to play Splatoon, and I feel like there's a lot of potential for this challenge, so if you liked the video and want to see more, consider giving this video a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe if you made it all the way to the end. I really want to hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and even if I don't reach that, I'm still really close to 1,000 subscribers, and I could really use your help. Thanks for watching.